Hey everyone, today we're stepping into a mysterious journey where the light of knowledge clashes with the shadows of invisible fears. Imagine holding a book that's been banned for 73 years, not by governments or religions, but by its own author, Napoleon Hill. Outwitting the Devil, first published in 2011, over 4 decades after Hill's death, is a work that's not just shocking but forces you to reflect on human nature, success, and the forces that control our minds. Why would a book be so terrifying that even the author's family advised against releasing it? Today, we're digging deep into its secrets, starting with the background of its creation and the controversies that made it famous. Outwitting the Devil was written in 1938, right after the massive success of Think and Grow Rich. But unlike its predecessor, which inspired positive thinking, this book opens a door to the dark corners of the soul. What made it famous first is the bizarre story of its ban. After finishing the manuscript, Napoleon Hill faced fierce opposition from those close to him. They believed the content was too sensitive, even dangerous, and could cause panic or misunderstanding. Even Hill, confident in his bold ideas, sensed the weight of the work. He decided to self-ban it, locking the manuscript in a safe and refusing publication during his lifetime. It wasn't until 2011, when his family's financial foundation heirs agreed, that the book saw the light of day. A key historical fact here is this delayed release, marking a rare moment when a work hidden for nearly a century finally reached the public. But what made a book so imprisoning that its own author kept it locked away? A quirky detail is that Hill didn't just write about success. He claimed to have a direct dialogue with an entity called the Devil. He described this conversation as a spiritual experience, but admitted he wasn't sure if it was real or just his imagination. This ambiguity adds to the book's mysterious allure. Scholars still debate whether Hill truly believed in the devil's existence or used it as a metaphor for deeper philosophy. Either way, the self-ban shows Hill was aware of the potential impact, maybe public backlash, or fears of being seen as promoting religion or the supernatural. The fame of Outwitting the Devil is also tied to its author, Napoleon Hill, who's practically synonymous with the self-help movement. Born in 1883 to an illiterate, impoverished family in rural Virginia, Hill overcame harsh circumstances to become one of the 20th century's most influential thinkers. The book isn't just a product of talent, but the culmination of vivid life experiences, from poverty to fame. However, the ban's reasons go beyond content to the historical context. In 1938, the world was on the brink of World War II, and ideas about negative energy or mind control could be seen as sensitive in an unstable society. Picture Hill's mindset as he wrote this. After Think and Grow Rich's triumph, he got tons of reader letters, some praising, but many disappointed they couldn't apply his principles easily. They asked, if positive thinking is the key, why is life full of failures? These questions pushed Hill deeper, seeking answers not just from logic, but from the subconscious. Outwitting the Devil emerged as an effort to explain why people stray despite knowing the right path. But when the manuscript was done, his family panicked. They worried releasing these ideas could label Hill as crazy or even heretical. An interesting angle is Hill's take on the devil. Instead of a traditional religious figure, he portrays it as negative energy existing alongside positive energy in the universe. This bold idea isn't entirely new. Philosophers from Plato to medieval mystics discussed good versus evil as two sides of reality. But Hill's dramatic dialogue format makes it unique. He doesn't just recount, he challenges readers to reflect on how they're controlled by invisible fears. The ban also mirrors the societal reality of the time. In the 1930s, America was reeling from the Great Depression. Fears of poverty, unemployment, and social unrest were everywhere. A book openly discussing manipulation by negative energy might be seen as provocative or worsening anxiety. Plus, the quirky detail of Hill predicting World War II, written in 1938, just a year before it started, made many, later, believe he had a supernatural connection. Even if coincidental, it amps up the aura. Ultimately, Outwitting the Devil isn't just about success. It's a wake-up call. Hill wants readers to realize that despite invisible forces, each person can choose how to think and act. The 73-year ban didn't diminish its value. It turned the book into a phenomenon, drawing in those curious about hidden secrets. We'll continue this journey, shifting to the story of Napoleon Hill himself and how he laid the foundation for modern success studies. Now let's talk about the man behind these breakthrough ideas, Napoleon Hill. Born in 1883 in a remote corner of rural Virginia, USA, Hill grew up in a poor, illiterate family where even basic reading and writing were luxuries. His parents couldn't read, and the surroundings were full of challenges, from poverty to social violence. Yet, those harsh conditions forged Hill's iron will. He self-taught relentlessly, devouring anything he could, and eventually got into college. But high tuition forced him to drop out and work, choosing journalism to survive while accessing the wider world. This was his first turning point, transforming a country boy into a global influencer. Napoleon Hill wasn't just a best-selling author, he's seen as the pioneer, almost the father of modern success studies. This concept, or self-motivation, revolves around finding life's meaning, self-improvement, and pursuing success systematically. Before Hill, ideas of self-betterment through mindset existed sporadically in philosophy, but he systematized it into a distinct field. A key historical event tied to Hill is his role in spreading this through lectures and books, influencing millions, from entrepreneurs to politicians. For instance, in the 1920s, 1930s, Hill advised figures like President Franklin D. Roosevelt, shaping post-depression recovery programs. A quirky part of Hill's journey is how he started writing. As a local reporter, he covered mundane topics, but always sought big names to learn from. One day, he interviewed Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon and America's richest man, with a massive fortune from his empire. This meeting wasn't ordinary. It became destiny-changing for Hill. In a 3-day chat, Hill shared his bold idea: interview hundreds of the world's most successful people to extract common success rules, then write a book for posterity. Carnegie, then 73 and nearing retirement, loved it, but warned it'd take decades, maybe a lifetime, since accessing folks like Henry Ford or Thomas Edison was tough back then. Scholars still debate if the Carnegie meeting was the sole turning point, or just part of Hill's self-driven path. Some say he exaggerated for appeal, others confirm it via memoirs and letters. Anyway, Carnegie refused financial support as Hill hoped. Instead, he promised introductions to his network, the era's richest and most successful. It was a huge challenge. Hill had to fund travel and research himself. But Hill, with burning determination, accepted. He said, with Carnegie's letters, he'd sacrifice his life for the project, and he did, over 20 years, interviewing over 500 top figures from business to science, distilling core success principles. Hill's pioneering path wasn't smooth. He faced obstacles like tight finances and societal doubt. From humble roots, he was often dismissed, but he turned it into fuel. His role in success studies solidified by applying theory to his life. Post-Carnegie, he built networks, wrote books, and taught. He stressed success isn't random, but from right thinking and persistent action. This laid groundwork for later authors like Dale Carnegie or Tony Robbins, expanding Hill's ideas into modern training. An intriguing aspect of Hill's journey is handling failure. Before fame, he went bankrupt multiple times, lost jobs, even divorced. But instead of negativity, he saw lessons. The Carnegie encounter tested persistence. Carnegie said most quit after years, but Hill proved otherwise. He spent hours daily noting, analyzing, and synthesizing from interviews. The result? Principles like positive thinking or clear goals we take for granted today, but revolutionary then. Napoleon Hill died in 1970 at 87, leaving a huge legacy. He wasn't just a writer, but a prophet of personal growth. His pioneer role is recognized as his works still sell, influencing billions. The fateful Carnegie meeting didn't just change Hill, It shifted how the world views success, from luck to learnable process. From here, we see why Hill wrote Outwitting the Devil, to explain invisible barriers blocking potential. But before diving deeper, remember Hill's journey proves his philosophy, overcoming adversity through mindset power. From lessons gleaned from hundreds of interviews, Napoleon Hill distilled a masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich, published in 1937. This book isn't just a finance guide, it's a manifesto on mindset power. Hill emphasized success starts with thinking right. When thoughts become intrinsic traits, the body acts automatically without force. Picture sitting in a dark room, and suddenly an idea sparks like a torch, lighting the path to action. That's the core. Positive thinking isn't wishful dreaming, but the foundation for turning desires into reality. Hill shared that from talks with billionaires like Carnegie or Ford. He realized most started with clear, unwavering ideas, unshaken by failure. A major historical fact about the book is its massive sales. Over 100 million copies worldwide, second only to the Bible in popularity and impact. Born post-1929, Great Depression, Think and Grow Rich became a beacon of hope for millions of struggling Americans facing unemployment and poverty. It didn't just sell in the US, but spread to Europe and Asia, influencing self-improvement movements. Hill outlined 13 core principles, from burning desire to creative imagination, stressing wealth isn't just money, but spiritual and relational abundance. He described how successful people use mastermind thinking, a Hill invention where ideas repeat until they become deep beliefs, driving natural action. Yet, not every reader succeeded applying these. Many felt disappointed post-read, wondering if it was hype. They tried thinking rich, but life stayed obstacle-filled, from job loss to bankruptcy. These feedbacks spurred Hill to write Outwitting the Devil a year later, explaining why people fail despite clear methods. This darker sequel explores invisible barriers, negative energies blocking positive mindset routes. Hill realized Think and Grow Rich told half the story. The rest is facing the inner devil, symbolizing fear and bad habits. Shifting to Outwitting the Devil, we find Hill at peak introspection. In 1929, the Depression hit, wiping his savings when his bank collapsed overnight. Hill sank into a 3-year slump, not from lost spirit, but societal context making efforts futile. In that dark time, Hill claimed a special method to connect with the devil, a quirky detail sparking curiosity. He called it a code, or phone number, for direct chat, but kept specifics secret. Still, Hill admitted uncertainty if real or imagined, stressing value in conveyed philosophies over origins. The book's scariness stems from its format and content. After a preface on Hill's life, it shifts to Q&A dialogue between him and the devil. Hill attacks skeptically, starting with Mr. Devil, but is demanded, Your Majesty. The devil retorts by claiming control over 98% of humanity via negative energy, leaving 2% free. This terrified Hill's family reading the draft. They feared its darkness could be seen as devil propaganda or shake religious faith. Hill depicts the devil as immaterial negative energy parallel to positive, like universe's two sides. It inhabits negative-laden bodies, with God as rival controlling positives. Scholars still debate if Outwitting the Devil is psychological metaphor for inner struggle or Hill's genuine supernatural belief. Some see it as creative failure interpretation, others link to era's new thought movements. Either way, it explains devil's control via seeds of negativity, especially fear, poverty, illness, aging, heartbreak, criticism, death. These grow, overriding positives, causing repeated failure. Hill uses this to explain why many Think and Grow Rich readers flop. Knowledge without negativity, resistance. The fear also lies in human calamity revelations. The devil admits causing misery as proud work, from wars to poverty. A chilling detail, predicting an impending world war, written 1938, 1 year before W. Wu. This made later readers believe Hill's special vision, though possibly savvy geopolitics. The devil boasts using lust, laziness, greed to trap people in loops, craving without satisfaction. For elites, it allies with greedy for injustice, but hates rich philanthropists solving poverty. From Think and Grow Rich to Outwitting the Devil, Hill builds a complete system. Positive mindset is key, but recognize and fight negativity for it to work. The book scares by touching power and mind truths, leading family to advise no release. But that darkness highlights hope. Despite devil's majority control, choose positive. We'll explore the dialogue deeper, unveiling yin-yang and control secrets. Now let's dive into the heart of Outwitting the Devil, the dramatic chat between Napoleon Hill and the enigmatic entity he calls the devil. Hill approaches without awe or worship. He interrogates sharply, like a detective uncovering dark secrets. The devil, self-titled Your Majesty, responds confidently, revealing its nature as negative energy without physical form, existing everywhere in the universe. It explains everything, from matter to spirit, is split between yin and yang, a philosophy inspired by ancients, but Hill applies it modernly to human psychology. The devil is the yin, controlling negatives, while its foe, God, represents yang, bringing love, hope, and natural balance. A key historical event is how the book mirrors 1938's context, with Europe boiling toward World War II. The devil predicts an upcoming world war, and sure enough, 1939 it erupts, chilling later readers with its prophecy. But the devil doesn't stop. It brags about its role in all human disasters, proudly calling it work. It admits causing poverty, war, and misery, but stresses real power is mind control. Its method, simple yet effective: plant a seed of negative energy in the mind, let it sprout and grow, eventually overpowering positives. Favorite seed: fear, poverty, illness, aging, lost love, criticism, ultimate death. One fear sneaks in, and the devil manipulates thoughts and actions. The yin-yang philosophy justifies its existence. It claims the universe needs both poles to function, no yin, no yang. God handles natural laws, balancing the physical world, while the devil focuses on thoughts, especially humans. A quirky detail: the devil has no fears itself, yet its power relies on creating fear in others. It examples war, stirring greed, anger, lust, pushes conflict, birthing new fears in a closed loop. It loves sowing poverty as it clouds clear thinking, easing control. For lusts, it uses gluttony, carnal desires, greed, laziness, vanity to keep people cycling, wanting but never fulfilled. The devil confidently claims 98% human control, as most harbor at least one fear. It admits God tries positive seeds, but calls it futile against its negative might. Yet, boasting reveals weakness. It can't fully control independent thinkers. The 2%, deep reflectors, steadfast, positive energy, full, leave no room for negative seeds to root. They include history's sages like Socrates or Confucius, even Hill challenging it. Scholars still debate if 98% is scientific estimate or metaphor, stressing negative habit impact, but it spotlights escape via positive loops. To escape, Hill learns, make positive thoughts, habits, like negativity's closed circles. Positives lead to success, luck, negatives to misery. The devil explains, don't want poor, fear form, versus want rich, proactive. Similar words, but opposite spiritual outcomes. It distinguishes knowledge from wisdom. Knowledge is info accumulation, often sparking wars. Wisdom from inner reflection, not schooling. On luck, it denies it. Everything cause-effect, fate preset, but choose attitude within. Death, inevitable fate, but life's path, personal choice. The devil reveals pre-human control, easy on animals via instinct fear, but humans' thinking required new tools like lust, war. For rulers, it partners greedy for injustice, but despises rich benefactors. This touches sensitive power truths, likely ban reason. Finally, the devil challenges, know secrets, fill world with positive. But Hill uses dialogue to prove yin-yang recognition. Let's choose positive, breaking control. We've journeyed through the thrilling path of outwitting the devil, from banned mysteries to the tense Hill Devil debate. Now, let's pause to reflect on the book's deeper meaning, not just success philosophy, but a life philosophy challenging self-examination. Hill doesn't want you to read and nod. He wants you to ask, are you living your own life or a puppet in the devil's negative loop? This part explores the core message, independent thinking's role, and Hill's strong call to escape the controlled 98%, aiming for the free 2%. One of the book's most shocking ideas is that 98% of humanity is manipulated by negative energy. Hill argues most live in fear patterns installed early, even from parents. An official historical fact illustrating this is how societies, from ancient to modern, impose norms on individuals, shaping thoughts and behaviors. For example, during the Great Depression, job and poverty fears made many accept resignation over change. Hill points out parents unintentionally brainwash kids by passing fears: failure, risk, judgment. Result? Many grow up living lives society or family wants, not their true desires. The quirky twist in Hill's argument is personal responsibility to break this loop. The devil reveals the 2%, like Socrates, Confucius, or Hill, escape via deep reflection and positive mindset nurturing. They reject fear and inspire positivity in others, a real threat to the devil. Hill stresses success philosophy isn't copying others' formulas, but finding your path through self-examination. This explains why Think and Grow Rich fails for many. They mistake thinking as enough, while true belief must sink into subconscious as unbreakable habit. Scholars still debate if the 2%, 98% is an immutable natural law, or Hill's exaggeration to stress proactive thinking. Some modern psychologists agree thought habits drive most behavior, but say 98% might be symbolic rather than data. Still, Hill's message is clear. To join the 2%, learn independent conviction, face challenges boldly, don't let fears like poverty or failure rule. The devil challenges Hill that even knowing secrets, humanity struggles to change because negativity's inevitable. But Hill rejects that. He wrote this as an action call, urging each to rise, spot negative seeds, replace with positive habits. A key philosophical aspect is Hill's view of fate and choice. The devil affirms death's unavoidable, but the journey's yours. Example, a failure may be fated, but facing it, with resilience or quitting, is your right. Hill stresses meaningful living isn't dodging death or failure, but making moments worthwhile. He draws from ancient philosophers, like Socrates, accepting poison but holding firm, to show life's meaning in attitude, not just outcomes. The book also questions the dialogue's nature. Was Hill really talking to the devil, or inner realizations during post-depression slump? Hill doesn't care proving existence. He wants focus on message. Choose positive living, whatever circumstances. The God-devil balance, as described, is cosmic law. Neither can destroy the other. The devil mocks defeat ideas, but Hill uses that arrogance to show escape. Nurturing love, hope, wisdom tilts to God's side, weakening negativity. Why Outwitting the Devil was banned isn't just supernatural content, but exposing sensitive social truths. Hill implies power and injustice sustained by negative energy allies, unsettling elites then. Plus, saying parents brainwash kids critiques education and socialization. But Hill doesn't stop at criticism. He offers solutions. Build positive habits, independent reflection, live true desires. This is his final call, a challenge for each to step from 98% to 2% free, living their own life. Outwitting the devil isn't just success, it's a reminder the real battle's in the mind. Hill leaves a legacy. You don't need to win every challenge, but choose facing them. Though the devil's confident, Hill believes each can lean to light, crafting meaningful, happy lives.